Hey, what's up?
Hi DK, how you doing?
Good, good. Trying to do better.
Good to hear. Uh, I think we exchanged a couple of emails. Was your first name Danny? Was that right?
Yeah, yeah, it's me, Danny.
Cool. Where are you? Which country are you in?
I'm from Israel.
Okay. I think I got a few clients from Israel. Seems
Oh,
to be
really?
quite popular. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we do have lots of problems with back pain. Yeah.
Did you mention something about sciatica?
Yes, I have terrible sciatica pain.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. You can get better. I had a pretty bad sciatica myself, so pretty familiar with the journey and the symptoms.
How long did it take you to not feel the pain, like this
Well,
lightning in your leg?
well, it was painful for about 12 years until I figured out to stop just doing physiotherapy exercises, basically. Martha, how are you?
Good, good.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good to hear. What's your situation?
Oh, I'm doing it for low back issues. I haven't been very
Okay.
regular with doing the exercise, but yeah, I'm just constantly going to the chiropractor. I don't have pain all the time, like very regular, but just off and on, it will get bad if I don't do something regular and
Okay.
go to chiropractor now and then. I was just getting tired of dishing out to the chiropractor if there was another way to do it
Sure.
myself.
Okay. Yeah, so I think what I'll do in the beginning of the call is just go around and get a feel for like what situation people are in, just so I can cater the content for what people are, what the general central issue with the group is, right? So you're saying low back pain. Is it like sciatica or is it just like
Mhm.
your low back hurts?
I think it's just low back hurts. It will tighten up sometimes if I don't take care of it by different movement or whatever. Um, then sometimes it will spasm as well.
Oh, it's
Um,
spasms? Okay, and how would you
if I let
describe
it
this?
get bad, if I let it get bad, yes, it can. Sometimes it does a little like that, and if I let it get bad, not go to the chiropractor or whatever, then it will
Okay,
tighten. I've had it a couple times in my life where it's been really bad, where I couldn't walk really.
so this is a lifelong issue?
Yeah, it's been since I was young. Yeah, fairly young, teenager.
Okay, okay. All right.
But it's not like extreme. Like I know some people they're in a lot of pain all the time. That's not me, but still,
Right,
yeah,
right, right.
something I need to manage and I want to get for
You
a
want to
better
move
quality of
beyond
life.
management. You want to move beyond management and needing to treat it all the time and just kind of forget about it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I
All
think
right.
so.
Okay, let me just go around to a few other people and just keep getting a feel. Someone else want to chime in and tell me what's going on? Let me
Hi,
unmute it.
hello.
I think a few people are muted. Oh no, I think you have control. Like if you want to unmute yourself, just try not to talk over try not to talk over other people, etc. Mute yourself when someone else is talking. Who just spoke? Was that Alan? Was it? Or Albert? Someone was speaking just a moment ago.
Hello, good morning from Mexico.
Hey, how you doing, Albert?
Very good. Very happy to be here.
Okay, that's great. You want to tell me a little bit about your situation?
Well, I've been having back pain since like 10 years ago.
Okay.
Now I don't have like the strokes when I cannot move, but my pain's been much more frequent than it used to be. So the pain is not like that hard, but it's much more frequent.
Okay. And
And I've
what
been trying
specific
all
symptoms are you experiencing? Like what is pain for you? What happens?
I used to have pain like in the only in the lower back and like in the butt. Now
Yep.
I only have it in the back pain and that's it, but I don't know what's happening because I have it almost all days.
Okay. Okay. So you're getting pain like almost all day, and like for most of the day, you're experiencing pain most of the day, every day.
Exactly. Or like for a few hours or when I cannot be like, for example, 2 or 3 hours standing up. It's difficult for me right now. And maybe
Okay.
2 or 3 years ago I could handle it. And once every 1 year I had like a very big hit on the back. Now I don't have that. That I couldn't move like for 3, 4 days. Now I don't have that, but the pain it's more frequent.
All right. All right. All right. Okay, let me ask a few more people. I just for the
Yeah,
first 10
man.
15 minutes, I'm just going to get a like a 1 minute chat with about 10 15 people and just see what's going on. Someone else want to chime in? Just feel free to unmute and go for it.
My name's Jody, and I thank you. I thank
Oh, hi
you
Jody, how are
for
you?
all that you offer.
Oh,
Uh,
you're more than welcome.
uh, your whole concept of moving almost imperceptibly slowly is of great interest to me. And I've been diagnosed with osteoporosis and have been struggling to find a doctor that I can work with. I also have curvature of the spine, and I've been working with a kinesiologist. And if I stand, I do qigong as well. If I stand for a period of time, my the muscles on the right side are sometimes cause me discomfort. When he was working with me for, and he had this kind of tappy thing that he used that said that it would release my psoas. I felt like incredible. So I'm looking for safe ways to continue to release my psoas in between times that I see him and kind of on a daily basis. I don't know if that makes any sense at all.
Sure. I mean, you mentioned your psoas, so there must be some reason about the psoas. Is it pain in the psoas, or have you identified the psoas as somehow causal or related to the pain you're experiencing?
Well, since the mid 70s, when I started going to a chiropractor, I was always told that my psoas was like in permanent spasm. So since psoas has been like a trigger. So I'm intrigued in the psoas and how to release it. It's not that I'm in pain, I'm in discomfort.
Okay.
And it isn't like I'm sitting down now, it's not hurting me. If I stand for like 10, 12 minutes, it can begin to cause some discomfort. And that's a drag.
Okay. Maybe there's a function, I'm not actually sure how it works, but if people are aware how it works, like in Zoom, you can do like a thumbs up or a yes or something like that. If you have psoas, like if what people are saying is related to you, feel free to put a chat or anything like that. But okay, noted, Jody. Thanks for the intro there.
Okay.
I'll come back to you just after getting a bit of more of a feel.
Okay,
I see
thank
Mika.
you.
I've had a chat with you on email a few times. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, this is really cool to actually get to talk to you in
Good to have you
person.
here.
Oh, well, Zoom, you know what I mean. Yeah, so sorry, I'm gonna geek out a little bit, because like I've been following your videos for so long. Um, so right now, as far as pain, I mean, it's more of overall tension, discomfort. I don't have like any really acute pain at the moment, but the areas that I just noticed like constant tension, definitely my jaw. And I've followed the jaw things on your videos, and I've done, self massage and bioenergetics, you know, on YouTube. So I have tried different things, but it's still there. And also my knees. Um,
Knees.
they're very they're very tender and they click a lot. Um, and I've had like what do you call it? Tendinosis there before. They're just, you know, and they're better now, but the trauma of like having that kind of fear is still, it's at this point probably a very mental thing. Just
Did something set this
fearing
all off?
that if
Did it start at some key moment, like you were okay, and then suddenly you started having pain?
I mean, the first time that I like really noticed it would be during one of my ballet classes and doing like a grand plie, any kind of deep bend, and like maintaining the turnout.
Yep.
I think maybe torqued them a little bit.
Right.
And
So you
then
were doing
yeah,
sport,
ever
you
since that
noticed
moment.
difficulties, and then it just started to get worse, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just mention something on the jaw, just seeing as you mentioned it, so it's just so easy for me to show. Like, just anyone, you know, just okay. Here's some jaw movement, right? You know, you kind of relax, and then it's like, you open and close your jaw, literally as slowly as you can. Okay. And as you're doing it, you're also paying attention to your spine, your neck, like your shoulders, because it seems to have like some influence throughout your whole body, right? So as you open the jaw, you notice some tension and you see like, how is that tension connecting to the rest of my body? All right. Because these tensions that you have in the body, one of the big problems in like the whole physiotherapy landscape is they identify tension and they say that tension is there. Okay. But these tensions are like, they can like wrap around your body. They can connect to your spine in some way. So what you need to do is like, as you do a slow movement, you start to feel tension and you feel there's like some sort of resistance and you feel like, where does my body want to like open up or move in some way to accommodate that tension, right? So we'll just do a quick exercise and I'll just try to watch my shoulders, watch my spine as I demonstrate this method, right? So see that was like one open, right? And how long did that take? 30 seconds? I could have done it slower. I could have done it for a minute, right? And then I could have done that 10 times, right? So the whole like part of the you know whole thing with this pain release, just the way to do pain release is that you're doing these movements so slowly and you're just paying super high perceptual awareness to your entire body, right? And you're allowing your body to restructure in the way that it's kind of begging to, right? Because you know, we kind of like have these goals and we want to do these things and get these things done, right? Like I've got this mission in life, right? And the body's like, would you please like pause for a moment and just let me restructure into the way that I'm meant to be? All right. I might just go to Mika for a comment on that. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah. No, it does. It does. I just having the discipline, I suppose, of just going there slowly and just like I always try to, you know, correct or fix without even like having that, you know, baseline moment of, well, what's there now and accepting it and just, you know, observing without judgment. That's not natural for me. So, no, that's something to definitely work on.
Yeah, I mean, and I wouldn't like you said discipline, and discipline makes it tough because if you believe that you need to have discipline to release pain, you're going to have a hard time
Mm.
because discipline is like difficult, right?
Right.
So it's really
Yeah.
more like whichever pain, like whenever you just notice something and you have free time, you don't need to have discipline. It's just like, okay, right now I feel like this kind of thing and I got a bit of free time. So whatever, I'm just going to sit down and spend 15 minutes specifically with that thing and just target that one thing for 15 minutes and do slow movement with that and see what happens. Okay.
Yeah, and another like belief I have about it is that it feels really boring. The idea of that feels really boring, and I can't. My mind
Really?
just shoots everywhere. It does,
Right,
yeah,
right,
and
right.
I don't like to admit it, but like it's hard for me to remain focused on like
Okay.
what's there now, what's there now, what's there now, what's there now. I
Right,
don't,
right,
like
right.
is that what I'm telling myself? Like just to stay in this moment, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you make a good point. Like, and I can tell you that like the pain really starts to release, in waves, in droves. Is it droves or droves? When you kind of have time to do it. Like if it's boring to you and you got to do something else, well, maybe you're not ready, in some way. But like there will come a time, it might not be today, maybe it'll be next week, maybe next month or something, where you'll be like, you know what, and I've got time now. But you will have more and more time as time goes on to do it. It'll be less boring, etc. Okay, I'll just pop over to someone else. Someone else want to chime in and say hello? I'll just pick someone. Cam? I think there's a problem with your microphone, Cam. Do you want to just try again there? We can't hear you, Cam. Just take 5 or something. Just
Can you hear me?
Yeah, got you now. Got you now. How you doing?
Okay.
But we can't hear you now. How you doing, Cam?
Can you hear me now?
We can
No?
hear you and see you.
Oh,
How are you? Nice to have
I
you
don't
here.
know how to get my audio going.
No, you're totally
There.
good. Everything's fine just as it is. It was until I said it was. Just take 5, Cam, and we'll see if we can get you back in a little while. I'm
Okay.
not sure. Oh, we got you, Cam. Okay, don't do anything. Don't press anything. Just talk to us.
Oh, you can hear me now?
We can hear you loud and clear and see you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I had forgotten about this and I just was walking my dogs. I got back in the car and remembered, and so I just tuned in. So I just saw you. I didn't see the beginning of what you were doing, but I could see that you were, kind of looked like trying to relax, sort of feel where else you felt that in the body. Yeah, I think that's great.
So what's your situation, Cam?
My problem is, I'm sorry, what?
What is your situation?
Oh, well, I have some problems in my cervical spine where it's I can't really decompress my whole cervical spine so that I can lie down flat. If
Right.
I'm lying on my back, I have to have a pillow under my neck or my head. That's one
Okay.
thing. I also just recently had hip replacement surgery. I'm just recovering from that. I have several different things going on, lumbar stenosis, so I think the stuff you're doing is great though. And my problem is just doing it, continuing to take the time to do these processes or exercises.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I can talk on a couple of things you said there. I think from now
Okay.
on, I'll start to answer, questions in a bit of length, right? You mentioned 2 things that stood out. One was your consistency, and 2 was your the issue with the pillows, right?
Oh,
Now,
right.
now, when you mentioned these pillows, you kind of said it in a negative way, like, oh, it's disappointing that I have to use the pillows. Like, How do you feel about, to go into more of that, like this using of the pillows?
Well, I mean, it just seems like over the course of several years, without my noticing it, my cervical spine got kind of locked up so that I can't just simply lie down flat on my back and have my back of my head touch the floor. And I guess I feel like, well, I don't think it's good for my posture or my back or anything to be having that head forward position.
Okay.
That's one thing. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna talk on that. Okay. So
Okay.
a lot of people mention this problem that, you know, the movements in the back pain miracle involve lying down and the head is on the floor, right? That's how I demonstrate it. It definitely doesn't have to be like that. If you got to have pillows, it's totally fine. But I want to talk on this idea of getting the head down to the floor, right? Because what's happening when the head can't go on the floor is there's basically like a full line of tension that is like, you know, like pulling the body up, right? Like this, right? The whole kind of body is like bending forward, right? So you can't get the head back. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do to deal with this problem is I want you to put pillows under the head and under the back to a point. Like when I say under the back, I mean under the low back, right? Like right under your butt. So it kind of like puts the lower back kind of like bent at the pelvis, right? Takes a bit of tension off the low back, and then also at the head. So it takes tension off at that end, right? You can imagine the head here, pelvis here, right? So we're lifting it up like that with pillows, right? And I want you to use enough pillows that you can lie there in complete, well, maybe not complete comfort, but the most comfort that you can possibly have, right? Just like do not deprive yourself of anything, right? Like you put as many pillows as you can possibly need. And you know, try to take what I'm saying about this position and use it conceptually to imagine any position, right? Because like something you have to do is you have to find your comfort positions, right? So it doesn't matter. Like I have done the craziest positions, right? Like a pillow here, a pillow there, a pillow here, a pillow there, like 8 pillows in action, right? Like supporting me in different ways just to find like a perfect comfort position. And you start from there. Okay. And then you're like, okay, this position is safe, supported, and comfortable, right? And you can stay in that for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. And then maybe you just remove one pillow. Or it doesn't even have to be that you remove a pillow. You might like remove a pillow and replace it with 2 towels, right? So you're making this like barely perceptible change. So you've started off in this complete comfort position, right? And then you've taken away one tiny little bit of support. So now it's just a little bit more difficult, right? So now you're going to feel a little bit of tension, a little bit of discomfort, and you're going to then spend 10 minutes
Kim.
like that.
I know you all know what that is.
So you're going to spend 10 minutes relaxing into that new thing, right? Then after that 10 minutes, when you feel comfortable and maybe you've gone through some emotions, you've felt some releases or something like that, then you can just remove another one. And just a little bit more, just remove some other thing, push a pillow in a certain way, take a little bit of support and just relax down. Now, this is not some instant thing. You can't just like, well, you may be able to. I'm not going to say you can't, but for most people, it's not going to be that you do this little magic Matt Cook pillow method and you relax your whole spine down in one day, right? Like the fitness industry wants to tell you this myth that you can do this exercise and it's like release everything in 1 minute, right? It's not going to happen. But if you start putting yourself in these ultra comfortable positions and just going slightly outside of your comfort zone, your physical comfort zone, and that might take a year, right? You just might take a year to gradually decrease the amount of support you need. And if you do that over a year, you say you can't get your head down to the ground now, but what if you gradually take your head down to the ground over a whole year or 6 months or something like that? You're going to make progress, right? Does that make sense, Cam?
Yes, it does.
Right.
And I appreciate your perspective of taking it slowly.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Once the body has gone into, contraction, it's got once the body has gone inward and contracted and found some chronic position, it takes time for it to open up slowly. And you can't force it out. You literally cannot force it out. You have to let it kind of like relax out. And you have to just literally be patient with it and let it go. All right. Okay, I'm just going to go over to someone else. Hope that's helpful for you, Cam.
Yes, thank you.
Sure thing. Okay, just does someone else want to chime in and mention something?
Hey, Matt. Mind if
How can I
step
pronounce
in?
your name? Is it Pagil or Pagil or?
No, it's like a username. But my name's Pauline. It's Pauline.
Colleen.
Yeah.
Pauline or
yeah.
Colleen?
Pauline with a P.
Pauline. Okay, nice to meet you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got a couple of your programs quite a while back now, and I find them, really interesting and some of them quite helpful. And like Jody, I have severe osteoporosis.
Right.
And also like Cam, I have severe kyphosis and I can't lay flat on the ground either. My head will not go back. So what you've just mentioned is very helpful.
Makes sense, right?
I've had quite a number of fractures in my spine over the last year or so, and it's been a very difficult year. And what I've recently found that because my spine, my lumbar spine is basically collapsing forward, my abdominals are very, very sore because my ribs are now sitting on my pelvis, and it causes me a great deal of discomfort. Would any of your exercises help with that to release the forward pressure?
Yes. However, can we get if you don't mind, are you open to it? Can we get a visual demonstration of what you're talking about? This collapsing that's happening? Are you able to stand up and show us?
Sure, yeah. Okay, as you can you see my upper back?
Right. I got you. Right. Yep.
It's very curved.
Yep.
But this portion of my body, I would say just in the last 6 months, since the last spinal fractures, is basically pushing down. My ribs are basically falling onto my pelvis. So there's no space between the ribs and the top of the pelvis. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I'm going to show you an exercise in just a moment, and I think it's going to be useful for a lot of people because most people are like you're so far like there has been a seemingly significant collapse. Well, I don't want to say collapse, but the position has changed significantly in that direction, right? And most people have at least to some extent this. So before I demonstrate anything to you, I want to ask you, like, say you were to go like this. What happens?
I can do that if I'm sitting.
Okay.
But what I find is if I'm standing upright and I try and extend my upper back by raising, it hurts my lower back. And it tends to sort of prevent me from wanting to stretch and extend backwards.
Okay. So I want to dig a bit deeper into this. All right. So I want to figure out kind of what's happening here. So what I want you to do is I want you to go back and just wait yet. Don't do it yet. I want you to go back into that standing position. And I don't want you to put your arms, I don't want you to involve your arms at all, right? But I do want you to start from this position and then do this movement. So, and I just want you to narrate your experience for me and tell me what happens when you do that.
Well, I find when I'm sitting at my desk like I am right now,
okay,
I noticed that after a while my lower back start to feel really achy and tired.
Sure.
And what you have just demonstrated, I tend to do anyway, because it kind of it kind of helps ease some of the tension. But eventually I still have to get up and actually lay down.
Right. Okay, so if you wouldn't mind, can you go to the standing position and do that exercise that I just showed? And I just want to know what happens for you. Everyone on the call, please pay attention to what's happening here, because, you know, even though it might not be the same symptom.
You see, my head's going back, but my back isn't.
Okay, don't move your head, right? Put your head back down.
Right.
And go more into the kyphosis position. So hunch forward more. Okay,
Right.
now come out of the hunch. Okay, now keep going, go into the kyphosis. Now come out of it. And I want you to just keep going in and out of it. Just about 5-10 times, and then I want you to come back and just tell me what you experience. Okay, that'll be enough. Come back and just tell me what your experience is like. What do you notice? What do you feel, etc.
Well, I didn't feel any pain.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. But what I noticed after maybe the 4th repetition, I was more aware of my shoulder blades.
Mm-hmm.
And when I raised my body more upright, I felt I could actually feel my shoulder blades actually moving down a bit rather than just being tight and tense. That makes sense?
Yeah. Okay, let me ask some questions here. So is that the first time you've done that in a long time?
No. I mean, I've started doing a few, trying to strengthen my upper back.
Right.
By doing a couple of exercises where you're basically lifting your arms and turning your thumbs to the back, and that kind of pushes the shoulder blades together, but you have to keep the shoulder blades down. Because I realize my upper back is very tight and stiff.
Okay.
And I was hoping if I did this over a period that eventually the muscles that have gotten very weak would eventually strengthen, but it's taking a while.
Okay. So this is important for everybody. No matter what your situation is, like if you've got sciatica, if you've got hip flexor stuff, like it's, you know, the concepts that we can use to talk about are all the same, right? So the situation that Pauline is in is she has this particular structure that's, you know, happening, and the muscles are identified as weak, right? And it's there's a collapsing going on. It's getting worse, and you know the movement associated with the position is quite poor, right? The quality of the movement is quite poor, and there's like concern about it and stuff like that, right? Okay, so just in your particular case, Pauline, like the movement ability that you're looking for, movement ability equals mobility, right? The mobility that you're looking for is this kind of thing, right? Like, would you agree that's what you kind of wish you could do, right? That kind of movement there, right?
Yeah, because obviously when if I sort of flex forward, I'm always a bit scared, like Mika, of causing a spasm or something. So I tend to sort of go very, very slowly.
Right. Okay. So, exactly. So most people, like generally when you have like some sort of like body structure and physical tension problem, there's some sort of fear that if you go into it too far, then something bad's going to happen, right? And as you said, you're afraid that you're going to cause a spasm, right? So what you're touching on right now is basically the key idea of what I discovered that starts to let pain release, right? Because, you know, you're afraid if I go too far, something bad might happen. Right? Okay. So what I kind of realize is, well, why can't I just go a little bit toward it and check that out? Take it and feel that out and see what's going on there. Right? And if I feel okay there, I'll go a bit further. But if I don't feel okay there, I'll either go back or I'll spend some time feeling that out. Right? Because at some point in your bend, there's this point that you're particularly afraid of, right? But here's the thing, you're not going to get the ability that you want without going through that fear. Okay? Because that fear is the block. Right? So, and this is with all the pains. Like, you're not going to get the mobility. And I'm not just talking to you, Pauline, I'm talking to everyone. Like, you're not going to get the mobility that you're looking for without going through the concern that is blocking you from the mobility, right? When every single movement, I'm afraid if I move like that, I'm going to get into this particular pain, right? So the basic idea in the back pain miracle is that, like, you're doing movements that, like, in a way stimulate the pain, but you're going toward it and you're just monitoring your fear levels, right? Like, how afraid am I right now? And the fear is the tension, right? You can, how afraid am I? Well, how much tension do I feel? So you're going into it and you're like, tension. Ooh. Okay. So, yours might look like this, right? You might be like, okay, I'm going into it. And then you might notice your heart race, or your breath might tighten. You might notice you're not breathing, and you might even feel a bit of pain, and you might be like, whoo, whoo, whoo. And if that's too much for you, you're going to come back out. Okay. And you're going to check, how about this area? Right? Oh no, I'm okay with that. Let me go a bit more in. And when you start to find an area where you're like, okay, this is the kind of area where I'm a little bit afraid, but not too afraid. That's where you start to work it, right? Start to work it there. And you actually find that you can make a lot of progress there. And you might even feel some emotions release, or you might feel some tension release, or you might actually feel like, whoa, I'm really feeling a muscle here. Whoa, I'm doing something here. This is great. I'm really working something. Okay. And it's just a gradual thing, right? Okay. Just let me check back in with you, Pauline. I've spoken for a while. Like, what's your understanding of what I just said there? Does it make sense?
Yeah, but I mean, does the fact that the upper back is weak on the back side, does that actually translate to the front being too tight? And the two together are actually making this forward position worse. Does that make sense? Because I mean, the tension I feel across my sort of abdomen is very unpleasant. It really is. Okay.
I hear your question. You're like, oh, does the weakness and the tightness go together, or does one cause the other, or which one causes what, or something? So let's just pretend I gave you some answer like, yes, this weakness matters or something. Like, tell me what you're driving at there. Like, what are you trying to get out of that question, knowing about how the weakness and the tightness relate to each other?
Well, for me, it's trying to sort of pinpoint which part of the body I should really work on. Should I work on strengthening the upper back or releasing the front, the abdominal side? Because
right. Okay.
I've never had to deal with this sort of this horrible tight sensation and this discomfort all the time.
All right, I can give you a good answer for that. I'll just tell everybody here. I mean, I went and studied with this guy. His name is, just write this down or something. Okay, his name is Egwin Ertl. EGWINERTL. I bought a course by him. It was called Foundations of Movement. I talked to him a number of times on Skype, and I even went away to like Croatia, and like he spent a week teaching me all this stuff, right? And he's an expert, right? Like he's probably one of the top 5 people in the world in terms of body modalities and emotions and spirituality and stuff, right? So he's God level. So definitely look up his work. Just a warning, he's hard to understand and you need to be patient as he explains stuff. But anyway, so one of the things the reason I mentioned this is I wanted to give some credibility to what I mentioned right now. And that is that you have a hyper focus on the muscle, right? You're concerned about like, is this muscle tightness and muscle weakness, right? One of the key things that he said is that stop being so concerned about the muscles and focus on the movement of the joints. Okay. Because like, that's why the back pain miracle stuff, it's all about movement, right? It's not about one of the key things I said in the sales letter for that is it's not about stretching. It's not about strengthening. It's about movement, right? It's about the remobilization of the joints because, you know, like the world is under this like spell of like called this like physicalism. We're like hyper focused on these physical explanations of stuff. And, you know, that goes deeper when we're like hyper focused on the state of the muscles. We're like, it must be something to do with the state of the muscles. This muscle must be too tight or this muscle must be too weak. And that's why it's like this, right? But what's really happening here is the body is structured in a particular way that is metaphorically representing what's going on in your whatever, in your soul. Okay. So if you get all obsessed with like, oh, is this tight or is this weak? And you try to strengthen a muscle or stretch a muscle or strengthen a muscle, like you miss the, I don't know, maybe that saying like confusing the forest for the trees or something like that. It's like, it doesn't matter, right? Like that stuff, the tightness of of your muscles and the weakness of your muscles will work itself out in the process, right? If you focus on the movement and say, I just want to mobilize the spine, I want to do the movements, right? You will get, the muscles will go how they're meant to be. If you focus on how do I get my body to be able to move, right? How do I get my joints to be able to move in the way that they move? The muscles will work themselves out. Okay. Does that make sense, Pauline?
Not really. I mean, I have to say that, you know, if you have a very tight muscle that's in spasm all the time, I can't see how trying to move against that spasm is going to really be good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying.
I mean,
so I know what you're saying because like what you're expressing though is you want to not have the spasm, right? You want to not move against the spasm because if you have the spasm,
they're pretty you know, terrible, I have to say.
Right.
You know, so the last thing I want is to have something like that, and then it kind of sets me back quite a few months.
Sure. And I'm definitely not advising that you have the spasm, right? What I want you to do is like not go all the way to the spasm, but go toward the spasm and clear, like say, you know, you bend so far and like that's spasm, right? I don't want you to go all the way to there, but I want you to fix this area. Okay. I want you to do movement here and get this moving perfectly. Master this area. Okay. And then what you'll find is if you master this area, the spasm point will actually just move back. And then you can master this area. Does that make sense?
I mean, what happens if the muscle is very weak and you're bending forwards and you feel that your body can't support your upper torso?
Exactly. Yep, I mean, that's totally fine. So if you get to a point where you're like, no, that's too far.
Is that muscles or the stomach muscles or what?
Well, I'm not trying to deny that there is weakness, all right? Like I agree that the weakness exists, right? So you're saying, yeah, you know, you're leaning forward and then you get to a point you're like, oh, it's too weak. Okay, that's fine. So you've identified,
because you feel
okay,
unstable
limit,
then,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, right. So that's your present limit, right? You don't want to go that far. But I want you to master the points before that. I want you to master the movement leading up to that. Like say you lean that far forward and you're like, oh no, if I go further, I don't have the strength for that. But I want you to master the mobility in this range.
Okay.
right? Just get all this mobility, right? So say if you go here, that's too, say if you go to this point, it's too much. But I want you to get mastery of your whole movement body, the movement of your body in this area. Right? You could do that, right? Because that's within your range, yeah?
Sorry, I was just going to ask, I mean, by moving in this forward direction, how is that going to strengthen the back, the upper back
Absolutely.
muscles?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%. Yep.
Okay. And then will that then release some of the tension that I'm feeling,
100%.
across my lower ribs and my pelvis?
Yes.
Okay.
Guaranteed.
And we're talking about
Guaranteed.
how many repetitions? I mean, like 10 repetitions a time?
Don't think in repetitions. Like if you think about in repetitions, it's just not the way to go. You want a free move, right? You want to turn off your thought about how many repetitions you've done, and you want to freely move and focus your awareness on feeling your spine, right? And focus on, what are my thoughts about my spine? What are my feelings about my spine? What is my total experience right now as I do these movements, right? And you're just freeing it up, and you're helping yourself function physically, mentally, emotionally within the range that's available to you.
Okay. So I just do it for as long as I'm comfortable with and keep going back to it. Is that how you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
And just enjoy it, right? Just say, I got 20 minutes here. I'm just gonna move like this. Right? And just feel it. Just feel it. Explore the sensations, right? All right. I hope that's helpful.
Thank you, Matt. I'm sorry I've kept you too long.
No, that's okay. I spoke with you for quite a while there because I think it's your case. The things the concerns you have are like general, right? It's very general. So I think that's very helpful to everyone.
Okay.
I might just I spoke to a few people earlier. I'm just going to pop back to them. So I'll pop back to DK and Martha. First, I'll just pop into Martha because I can see Martha nodding along. So why don't you pop on, Martha?
Well, I was just acknowledging that it makes a lot of sense that focusing on the joints, and what you're feeling rather than just the muscles or how many repetitions or just to feel the emotions. Realizing that I've realized this with my health in general too. It's with everything, is how much the mind and the thoughts are included in everything we do, feelings and what do I feel about this, and just to kind of let go, Anyway, I really like that. It's a total different view of what I think about adjusting the back, or like
I'm on a Zoom
chiropractor
call right now.
adjusting, that kind of thing. So anyway, it makes a lot of sense. I appreciate that.
Okay. Did you want to mention anything about your own situation and offer a question, and I'll help you out?
No, I think you answered a lot of them. Even that it's just, going really slow is a challenge for me.
Yeah.
And taking that time, even like Mika was saying earlier about getting bored or how long, but I think that's the whole point. I do it for a couple minutes, and if you repeat doing it, eventually you will do it longer time. I might start with 2 or 3 minutes, and then get to 15 minutes or 20 minutes, I think that's that's where I kind of, and I tend to do it. Oh, I feel a little pain. Oh, I should do those exercises, right? Rather than being consistent every day a little bit, right? And to build up on that.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
But
I think I can tell the difference when I do them, that my back feels better.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned, build up 15 minutes or something. And, I'm sitting here thinking, I have had sessions where I'll lie on the floor and just wriggle around or whatever for 3 hours. Okay. So if you want to have a real session, you wait until it's like 10 o'clock at night, everything's finished, right? That's why like people say, when should I do the movements? And I say, I recommend at night. Like you wait until
that makes sense.
everything else in the day that you want to do. And I think, Mika, this is appropriate to you, you know, because you say you're bored because you got stuff to do, right? But what if you do everything you got to do in the day, and then, you know, you got nothing left, like nothing at all, and you're like, okay, now I'll just lay down. You turn, you know, you make the lighting like warm. You can light a candle if you want, or something like that. Put on incense or something like that. Tell everybody in your household, do not annoy me, right? If you live alone, like, do not talk to me at all, right? And they come and say, can I just have one thing? It's like, I'm not to be disturbed, right? Spend 2 hours with yourself, with your body, noticing your emotions, etc. Right? Noticing your body.
Yeah, it can be almost like a meditation, just a reflection of things and feelings and other
100%.
things going on in your life, right? Almost like you're journaling, but you're just lying down, letting it all go, right? Kind of thing.
Yeah, that's really well put. I mean, like, I mean, I call this art form, and I didn't invent this word, but Edwin Ertl said this. He called it conscious movement, right? And conscious movement is like a thoughts, emotions, body movement modality. It's like meditation plus movement, right?
Yeah, I like that.
I got a couple of questions in the chat, but I just want to pop back to, I'm going to pop back to DK, then I'm going to answer the chat questions, and then I'll go over to someone else. You want to, DK, you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
How you doing, buddy?
Good. Well, about my story, yeah. Basically, I'm coming from more of active lifestyle, I'd say. I do a lot of extreme stuff, yeah. Like I'm a skydiver. I'm as my profession. I do a lot of it's called rock climbing. I do snowboarding and and I'm also serving in the army as a reservist. So a couple times in a year, I'm also carrying a lot of heavy stuff. So mainly all my back problems came from physical traumas, basically. So yeah, and well, I can say that it's a familiar feeling, the feeling of sciatica, because the feeling itself became like a year ago.
Okay.
But it was like minor. It was like not stretching enough. And then the real pain began like 5 months ago. And until now, I'm struggling with this pain.
Okay. And tell me specifically what the pain symptoms are. Like, is it a lower back or knee or like foot kind of thing? Where do you feel it?
Right at the lower back, like at the sacrum and like at the joint. Right now, it's in the joint and a little bit towards the left leg. Like now, it's not in the whole leg because like a month ago, it was the whole leg. Like the whole leg was like struck by a lightning. Like I was stabbed in the leg or something.
Okay.
And now it's just upper leg. So how I'm dealing with it is basically I'm not new to meditating and stuff, so I kind of connected to your way, like the slow movement, slowing it down. And when I started slowing it down, I started feeling like really like lots of muscles, like different muscles that I haven't been using.
Yep.
And it does help. It does help with the pain. It's like I finally found something that I can use to reduce the pain. And that's amazing.
Do you have the sciatica course, the one that's called Sciatica Recovery System?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yes, the
one where I'm
course,
wearing the black shirt.
Yes, in short hair.
You can identify my programs by the color of the shirt. Have you been through many of the movements?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the movements. I tried some. Well, first of all, the first level and then second.
Right.
Some movements I couldn't do because right now I cannot lay straight yet. Like even stand, I cannot stand. Yeah, like that. And
so this is quite severe.
Yes, very severe.
So tell me, you say you can't lay straight. Okay, so say you try to lay on your back, what happens?
The moment I straighten my leg, like I become flat, I feel like too much stress on the whole leg, and on the back pain, on the lower back.
Okay. So are you saying like say you lay on your back, but with your knees bent, would you be okay?
It's a little less stress. Yeah, I try that.
Okay.
What I do now is I lay on the side, and
Right.
that's that's much better. Like I feel less pain, and there I can move. I can move myself.
Right. So definitely what you'll be looking for, like the thing that's going to help you, because like all this pain recovery, it's from contraction to expansion, right? Like all the things, like when you have pain, like pain is always associated with a contraction movement, right? No one's like, I feel so much pain. I wish I could do this more, right? So it's that, right? It's the knees inward, right? It's like the hips turned inward, right? All this kind of contraction thing, right? It's like just think of like the fetal position, right? Like the womb fetal position, right? This is the total contraction, right? What you want to do is, okay, you say, the position that you want to achieve is like straight, right? You want to have the leg straight and the body straight, right? And you say that on your side, you're more comfortable, right? So what you want to do is you want to lay on your side, probably in bed, with like very good support under your head, right? Like not like that. And I'm not saying that this is like a complete no in life. You 100% can sleep like this, but just in this case, right? Complete support, right? And then the movement that you want to do is that you want to go from the fetal position like that and expand straight, right?
Like on the side? Just
on your side. Straight? Yeah, on your side, right? And you might even lie, I would say that you should lie on your right side, right? And you might even have your right leg already out straight, because I assume that your right leg is more okay, right?
Yeah, it's completely fine.
Right. So you might have like kind of this, and your left leg kind of like pulled in towards your chest and your knee bent, right? You might have your right leg out straight, and then you're going to kind of like very slowly straighten out your left leg, right? And you're going to, as you do it, you're going to get to a point, you're going to be like, "Ow, that's tension." I get the tension point, right? And when you meet the tension point, that's a point where you need to deal with something, right? You need to, oh, I feel something here. What's going on with me there? What's the issue here? Like, what muscles can I wake up? What can I release here? Is there some emotion here? And you go towards straightening out the leg, you bring it back in. You go towards, you bring it back in, and you're kind of like narrowing down on the issue. You might get to a point where it's like somewhere here, you're like straighten a bit, contract a bit, straighten a bit, contract a bit. And you get, you're laser focusing in on where's the issue where's the thing that I can deal with right here, right now. Is this making sense?
A lot of sense. For the whole week, I've been understanding pain, let's say. This is the first time that I kind of started listening to the pain and understanding like where is it coming from and why.
Right.
I visualize it a lot in my mind, and it's like I'm drawing it in my mind, like what do I see, like what muscles do I see, and where's the exact pain. And it helps me a lot, like understand like in which at what point it starts stretching and putting stress. Yeah,
Something you
That's
mentioned
good.
there that's interesting. You said like I'm thinking, you know, why? What like the pain? Like why? You raise this question, why, right? And
Yeah.
I'll reveal something to you. Like, you know, the pain is like generally there may be like a few like major pains that have like these big reasons, like life, like big life reasons, like, oh, that thing that happened when in childhood, right? But generally pain is like 1,000 different little things, right? So as you do this conscious movement style and you start moving slowly and you go into the tension and start exploring it, and you stay with it for a while, suddenly all the whys of the pains come up, right? You're like, oh, right. Oh,
Yeah.
that thing. And then there'll be some emotion. And then you're like, oh yeah, that fucking person. Or, oh yeah, I was so embarrassed then. Or, oh, I'm so ashamed. Or, oh yeah, I really feel guilty about that. And it washes over you. Or, you know, those are the kind of like clearly emotional things, but it can also be movement things, you know, where you move and you might be like, oh, my leg doesn't work. Whoa, oh, relax, relax. And then it kind of opens up, right? Something you said, by the way, you might want to look into this. You said, I'm carrying a lot of stuff. That was a phrase that you used when you first started talking. So you might want to check that phrase out. It could have a deeper meaning.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah.
So try that movement that I told you in the bed, right? And anyone who's got sciatica should try that movement as well. Generally, when you have sciatica, you've got it in one leg. So you have that leg on top, you lie on your side, you put the other leg straight out, and you go into a kind of contraction position, and you're kind of like opening up and straightening the leg. And that'll summon up most of the issues.
Very interesting. All right.
Okay.
Definitely gonna.
Good luck. I'll answer a few questions
you.
in the chat, and then yeah, I mean, probably have some time. So Tamekia, can you spell the name of the specialist? Yeah, again, it's Egwin Ertel. I'm going to write it in the chat for everybody. Whoops, hit caps lock. Yeah, good luck spelling that. He's an Austrian. I think the name Egwin is Welsh, and Ertel is probably like Austrian. It's actually from the same city as Schwarzenegger, Graz in Austria. Okay, now we have Nan Shuizin. 1 second, I'm gonna. Okay, ask to unmute. So how do you handle when you feel the emotion come from the people bully? I imagine that it's like, okay, so you've been bullied in life and you get emotionally hurt by people who have bullied you. I can't get over this. Maybe that's why I can't get over the physical pain. Do you want to speak, Nan?
Yes.
How are you?
Hello. Yes, it
Hi.
was hello. So I was from accident last 2 years ago. It's bicycle accident, but I thought it's only impacted on my right here. But however, after 1 year, I found out it was herniated disc issue, and then it's became now sciatica nerve on the left hip. So sometimes I couldn't even walk properly. So it's miserable. So I have to do a lot of kind of this massage before. I had to massage myself.
I had that exact ball as well.
But it just temporarily get out, but it came back. The thing is, I have very much comfortable to go out. After 30 minutes, I cannot stand up. I cannot stand. I only have to sit all the time or lie. Because I need to go forward and travel. That was so like a lot of disturbing me for my career. Right. So like sometimes I almost want to cry. But when I feel the first feelings came from the here, and I got so irritated from the people. Right. I went there, apologize. But I know they never apologize, they never grow. But I want to know, I used to do a lot of spiritual healing. Mm-hmm. But I handle some of the spiritual, but I cannot handle this. I used to do a lot of forgiveness, but I cannot forgive. It's the big
Okay. All right, I can say a few things on this. So you mentioned that you can't stand, right?
Yes.
Right. So you've been bullied. I mean, don't take anything I say as like certain. I'm just like suggesting associations, right? If you can't stand, you can't stand up for yourself. Does that make sense? Can't stand up for yourself, yeah?
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like that? Like you wish you could stand up for yourself, but you couldn't?
I feel like I'm helpless or nobody surrounding me, not helping me. I really struggle in my life.
Right.
People
So you
just
don't feel supported?
Yes, not supported.
Right. So when you don't feel supported in life, you get low back pain. Because your low back
Maybe.
supports you.
Yes.
Right?
It was getting down to the hip. Now it's lower back or hip. It's even like almost hip area.
Yeah.
Something like pelvic on the left side.
Yeah. There's a lot of like metaphorical stuff with how you experience life in the body. Like if you feel low back pain, you don't feel supported. And if you have hip pain, you don't know what to do about something in life. You don't know whether to go this way or that way about it, for example. Right.
It feels so strong. I feel like I can't stand at all. Maybe some kind of patient level.
Okay.
I can't be patient at all.
Okay. So so those were just some things I mentioned. Now I want to help you actually kind of deal with this, right? So can you stand up at all?
I can stand up because I need to go forward. But the thing is, I'm feeling really suffering inside. So I have to take trains. If I don't get the seat in my side, I'm trying to pretend the people I'm okay, but I'm so shaky. It was so miserable. Sometimes I feel like I'm so sick. I'm going to die very soon. I feel like my back, something is very wrong in my body. I'm going to die soon.
Okay. Can you walk around your apartment?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm trying my best. Yes.
So when you walk around your apartment, does it hurt?
It's hard. I'm just like pretending. Because I need to do because I'm alone, nobody with me. So I must do with this period. I'm standing myself, but actually it's killing me alone. So every time I came back, I cannot do anything. I just lie down. I have to do a lot of like giving whole of my life, giving only this like pain relief, like massage, workout. I used to go hot yoga, but it was not just only temporarily, and then it came back.
Okay.
So tired.
So how long can you stand up for?
Until 30 minutes or more than 30 minutes is steady pain. Then sometimes, most of the time, I didn't get the seat in the train. I pray I want the seat. But once I get the seat, I sit. It was so painful, but I cannot sit like 90 degrees. I need to sit like this whole life.
Go like this.
Like this.
Right?
I cannot sit like this because something like, I don't know how to explain. I really need to relax. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I felt a lot of like this when I was young, I think. When I was about, how old are you?
37.
Okay. When I was like 20 or something like that, I really felt like you're explaining, right? Okay. So let me ask you a question, all right? Let's say you were to stand up and you say after 30 minutes, right, you feel pain, right? Like what pain do you feel?
It's like killing me.
Okay.
I'm not patient. I can't stand at all. Some kind of, it's too much. Maybe I cannot have patient level with the people. I want to do something to them.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to, okay.
Something like.
Okay. So in your case, your pain is like a clear, it's clear the meaning of your pain, right? There's no mystery here. Like for example, DK was speaking before and he's like, you know, I got sciatica. I don't really want to what it's about, right? But with you, okay, you were bullied. You have an issue with these people. You feel back pain. You can't stand up for yourself. It's very clear, right? Like you understand why you have pain. Is that correct?
Yes, I think so, but I don't know how to make forgiveness, get rid of this emotion from my body.
Okay, okay. Okay. So forgiveness, you're focusing on the forgiveness, right? But you can't forgive because you still have the anger, right?
Yes.
Is that true? Okay.
True.
So, like, you see videos on YouTube, they're like, you have to forgive people, right? They're like, forgive. And you're like, how can I forgive when they did this fucking thing to me? Right?
Right.
Right. And that's completely understandable. And I imagine a lot of people, this is going to be completely general. I mean, who doesn't have someone in their life who has done something bad to them? And apparently they're supposed to forgive them, but they did this horrible thing to them. How can you forgive someone if they've done a horrible thing? Right. And that's because you can't forgive until you experience the anger, right? Like it's like a cue, right? Like first there's the anger and the revenge, and then there's the forgiveness. Okay.
Now I want to revenge now.
Right. Now, to be clear about revenge, right? Revenge, revenge is an action, but revenge is also an emotion. Okay. And the emotion of revenge can be experienced without action, right? So what I want to encourage you to do is I want you to feel the anger. I want you to feel the rage, because like I mean, I was, bullied a little bit when I was a kid, right? Like a little bit, like not much, right? But when I was doing all conscious movement modalities and like inviting these emotions to come up, like the rage that came up at certain times, I was like, right? Like, so I imagine with you, it's probably like maybe 10 times worse, or maybe 100 times worse. Okay. So have you, okay. Before I proceed on the advice, I want to just check with you. Are you an owner of the Back Pain Miracle course?
Yes, back pain. I don't know. I have your course. I do this. The one of the position very nice, but only the time I feel realized. But after that, I walk, that is came back. But I get no stress all the time when I walking.
Okay. So here we go. Okay. So if you go for a walk or something, or you sit on the train, that triggers the anger for you, right? Like if you sit on the train for a long time, you feel the anger, you feel angry toward other people and you feel pain, right? Is that correct?
When I do stretch, I feel this anger came from my body. When I walk in a train, I don't know. I'm really so tired. I don't want to do anything. I don't even want to communicate with people.
Yeah. See, there's another feeling there, like a tiredness kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So, this stuff is difficult, right? Like, I would encourage patience here, but I want to give you just a general approach, right? I want to suggest to you that you use the activities that you do in your life and the movements in the Back Pain Miracle course as a method to trigger this anger to come out. Not when you're outside, not when you're on the train. I don't want you to stand up on the train and yell at everybody. Not that I haven't done that. If someone's talking in the quiet carriage, I'll do it. But what I want you to do is in your house, I want you to get angry, right? Punch a pillow. Like, have you ever gotten a pillow, put it on the bed, and just smashed that pillow and just pretended like you're yelling at the people who bullied you?
No, I never did that. Maybe I might be swaying in my mind.
Okay, I'm going to give you this one exercise, right? Okay, this is the one exercise I want you to do. I want you to put a couple of pillows on the bed, right? And then I want you to get your fists like this. And I want you to go. right? I don't want you to be damn you, right? I don't want you to get full angry.
Okay, I will try.
Okay, right? That's your exercise. I've done it. Okay, and I do boxing. All right, like
Yeah, I never
I had to do
boxing.
boxing to get some of this anger out. A lot of back pain is about anger. By the way, everyone, just in case you're not, anyone's not aware, a lot of back pain is anger. A lot of pain is anger. Okay, pain, repressed anger hits the back big time. Repressed rage. Same with here. If you have pain like in between your shoulder blades, that's like you're repressing the desire to punch, right? Like a lot of pain in the body is tension, is held back activity, right? You want to do some action. You just want to do something. A lot of fighting or attacking someone or defending yourself, and you're holding it back and you're holding it in. Okay, so you've got some work to do, definitely. But one of the exercises I want you to do is I want you to smash some pillows, right? Just destroy them, right? Even hold the pillow, bash it on the bed, and just like say the names of your people and say, "Damn you! How could you do this to me?" Right? Okay, do that and come back next time and tell me how it goes. All right?
Okay.
All right. Okay, I'm going to go to the next. No problem. Okay, Jody, would you write out the name? Yeah, I did that. Okay, who else got a question? Yep, just feel free to chime in and say what's on your mind.
Hey, Matt, Gary.
Gary, how's it going, Gary?
Yeah, it's going. So my briefly, I suffer lower back pain. I did have surgery 2017. I had a fusion done because I was in severe pain. I couldn't do anything. Came out of it after a year and a half, 2 years. I'd say 70%. Feeling decent.
Okay.
A success, I would say. Then I started doing more things. And I'm pretty athletic, and I, like to do things, and the pain came back. So
okay,
this has been about 2.5 years now, and the pain was very severe at first, and I didn't know what to do, and I went to a pain specialist. I worked with him with the various things, shots, a couple other things he did, mostly shots, but and it got better. I got a little better, but it's not to my satisfaction whatsoever. I have, and I don't like to say this because I want to eliminate it, but I know I had fear of sitting, and I want to eliminate the word fear, of course, because I can sit. Driving a car is the worst, and but I have done it. I just did a vacation, and I got through it. But I always have this nagging pain, and sometimes it's severe where I just want to lay around. I just want to like be in a room by myself, meditate, and it goes, and after a day or so it subsides to a point where I'm able to do things. So I work. I'm still working. I mostly stand and work, and I try to sit. Because my son tells me you got to alternate. Which I think that's true. You can't just not sit.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at, and I like many people probably on this call and in the world, they search Google for the magic cure, and I do have your conscious movement book. I enjoy it. I like your theory on I did the regimen. I call it regimen. It's not regimented, but I did the PT work where do 15 reps of bridges, do all this stuff, and I did 8 months of that probably, and the other thing I'd like to tell you about my pain, my pain is not due to movement. I don't believe I have sciatica. It's right dead in the middle around the L5S1, which is where the fusion is. It's when it turns on, it's kind of like a constant pain. I mean, bending over and moving does not make it worse or better. So I can't tell what turns it on and off and things like that. So I just wanted to run that by you, you know.
Yeah,
I
this
don't
is
know.
interesting.
Yeah. So
Okay,
it's
so
like
you
a
have this
nerve. I think it's a
constant
nerve.
pain.
I think it can be constant. Yeah. I can come out of it occasionally, but then when it turns back on, it can be pretty tough. Yeah.
Okay. And okay, fine. And what kind of aches you in life? What is your what bothers you in life?
Bothers me?
Just in general, like, you know, a story of what's a story story of my life, man, for this and that. Like,
yeah, no, I'm a very I don't let things bother me too much. I mean, I had I had 3 sons. The normal family stuff, and worrying about bills and stuff a little bit, but not crazy. I always had jobs, and so I don't have a lot of background like that I can speak of.
I'm just gonna take a guess. I mean, obviously we've only been 30 seconds to a minute, but it sounds like you're kind of like you got a lot to do. So it seems like you're constantly got something to do and you don't really get that much time to yourself. Just correct me if I'm wrong and we'll get closer to it.
No, I do have time to myself. I do.
Okay, you do.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, so how many hours a week would you have to yourself? Don't worry, guys, I will fix that. Sorry about that. You want to continue, Gary?
I could find yeah, I could easily probably 2 or 3 hours a day or even more. I mean, one of the things which, I know it's not a if I find a sporting event or something I like to watch on TV, it takes my mind off of it. Of course, I'm lying down. It's not the right solution by any means, but it does take my mind off it. So kind of escape.
Okay.
But I do have time.
Okay, you do have time. Okay, that's a very good thing. Okay, so you have this basically you have pain, and the cause is not immediately obvious, certainly to me, and you don't know what it is either. So, do you have any guesses as to what it is all about?
I have to believe it's some kind of nerve that's upset. I don't think it's muscle. My legs do get tired, but I stand a lot, and actually I walk between 5,000 and 10,000 steps a day. So I'm staying as active as I can. I used to walk more, but it's it's just something that's there, sometimes. And
Gotcha.
even when I said it had like 70-80% recovery, it was still there, but it wasn't as severe. It was you could handle it. So it's not like they did the surgery and I was running marathons and stuff. But I was doing things, and I actually can get in the car and go swimming too, and I love to swim. I could swim 30 laps, with no pain. So.
Okay. What was that thing you said before about like you wish you could go into a room for a day or something and focus on it? Like what was that thing?
So when I get into the pain, it's hard. It's hard for everyone. So my solution is to kind of meditate and lie down and just try to forget it.
Okay, fine. Okay, that's a good enough.
When it's at its highest. I certainly don't do that, every day. So.
Okay, fine. So, okay, what is your experience so far with the back pain miracle movements?
I just like the idea that, like you said, just, you don't have to move real fast. I cross my leg over. I do some of the things you showed, simple things, and I think they're helping me. I do, but I still get the moments. It's not like it's gone away or anything. So.
Right. Have you tried all the movements yet?
No, I probably haven't. I have your book, and I signed up so many things. I don't even know the back pain miracle course. I might have signed up for. I have to check that out, make sure I did, because I'm not sure I did. Because
Okay.
I was looking for solutions all over the place, trying to.
Okay, I gotcha.
So
So
I don't.
yeah, the challenge with your one is that you're not sure what it's about, right?
Yeah.
And what you said before is like you said you think it's a nerve thing. Okay. Now
Yeah.
I can't yet suggest to you, oh, here's what it is. Right. I'm not there yet with that. Like I don't have that yet. And I don't have any specific advice about, oh, given your situation, I recommend this movement. Right. In terms of the movements I suggest that you go through the course and just do all the movements, right? But there's one thing that I want to talk on, right? And it's that you said you think it's a nerve thing, right? So I don't know whether this is controversial. I don't think it's controversial. I think that this is the information that's about to get out to the world, and everyone's going to be talking about it and going, oh yeah, I can't believe we used to think that stuff, right? It is my position that no pain is because of a nerve thing or because of a muscle thing or because of anything like that. Right? All the identifications of like physical things is basically pointing at a symptom and labeling it as the cause. Like I understand fully you might have a nerve thing, like an experience with a nerve, but like, and you can have like a vertebrae, right? And it's dislodged and it's pushing on a nerve, right? And but what people are identifying as is like, oh, I have pain because I have a herniated disc, or because my nerve is squeezed by a muscle, and that kind of leaves you nowhere to go, right? Like, where do you go from there? Like the only way you've got to go from there is like, well, okay, I gotta get maybe I can physically move the disc off the nerve or something like that.
Right.
But like these things are symptoms, right? And you can't identify a symptom and try to look really closely at the symptom and try to like get at it, right?
Okay.
Like you just run around in circles, right? So the reason why I think the reason why the back pain miracle is going to help you so much is because you do these slow movements and you do this meditative stuff and you do this very relaxing perceptual body experience movement.
Yeah.
And you take your awareness directly inside close to the pain, and you start to look at the sensations, right? And when I say look, I kind of mean feel, but you're kind of like focused inward, right? So you're feeling all the sensations, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to map the sensations to your emotions, to your life situation, to the experiences that you've had in your past, and you're trying to put it all together, right? And what you find is that as you integrate it all together and you kind of notice, oh yeah, I see how that got started now. I see how I remember the time when that pain first started. Yeah, it was when I was doing this, or it was when I felt that way, or it was when I developed that perspective, right? As you integrate it all kind of like clicks in your head, and you're like, ah, yeah, and some emotions come up and wash away. And then, for some reason, you never know why, some muscular tension releases, and then, it stops pulling on a vertebrae, and then the vertebrae slides away, and now it's not pushing on a nerve. But the point is, it never was a nerve as a causal factor. Everything comes down to life experiences and life situations and how we react to them, right? So I can't tell you what it is for you, but I can tell you that if you use the back pain miracle movements and just develop this deep focus into the sensations of the area, that things will start to unravel and things will start to become clear, right?
Okay. Yeah, after my surgery, it was similar to what you just said. I had a period of time, like maybe even a year and a half, where I'm like, did I do the right thing? Because I still had the pain, and I think I just started not thinking about it as much. I was doing a lot and driving through the pain, and the pain kind of started to subside. And I'm hoping that happens again. You know, it was a slow process, and I thank you for your work, and I'm gonna do your course and try it. So.
Yeah. And if I could just add one more thing, just from a few things you've said here and there, just give me some ideas, like, and, you know, a nerve thing. And, you know, a lot of nerve things is like, there's pressure on me, pressure on the nerve. There's pressure on me. Right.
Yeah.
So just an idea you can look for other areas in my life where I feel there's undue pressure on me, etc. Just an idea. Right.
Right. And my pain doctor is talking about burning a certain nerve, and I'm not sure about that one. You know, so
well, the doctors were always
people
correct.
have had it done. What's that?
If I can just add that, you know, the doctors, they're always correct about the description of the physical symptoms, right?
Yeah.
They're always correct about that, but it's not, you know, that's their speciality. Doctors are physicalists. But
Sure.
if you want to release pain, you have to go into the other realms.
I believe that. You know, they're trying to look at an MRI, which is not perfect, or, you know, a CAT scan, whatever, and make a conclusion and do their thing. So I understand. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what I would take, the way I would integrate, sure, Gary, you're welcome. The way I would integrate doctor's advice is that they will tell you exactly where the issue is, right? And then you can take that and you can say, oh, well, let me see if I can invent a movement that targets that exact area and move the joint that is in closest proximity to that specific thing, and monitor my experience as I do it.
Okay. And I definitely, you know, I definitely should keep swimming, right? Swimming seems to be really good for me. I just feel like I feel no pain in the pool, you know? So anyway.
Swimming's fantastic. Love it. I highly recommend it.
Matt,
I'm
thanks
an avid
again.
swimmer.
Are you going to have more of these Zooms, or you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing it every 2-week thing. So if anyone, I'm going to just go for another 10 minutes or something like that. So if anyone didn't get, you know, answered the first time, don't think that means that you won't get answered next time. Just come back and, you know, I'll prioritize you next time. All right. But let's just go to a couple more people, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you.
No worries. Someone else want to chime in? I'll say a name if no one speaks immediately, but just please, if someone's there who hasn't spoken, just say hello. What about Anne? You got anything, Anne?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, go Anne.
And I will say to Gary, I just put it in the chat. I did all of those. I had nerves burned off and all of those things. I had everything done you could have done, and it didn't work. So
yeah,
I would skip all those things.
Yeah, no, I know. You know, I have a stimulator in my back too. I tried a lot of things. So thank you.
Yeah, I have skipped that. I had spondylolisthesis, and I had a spinal fusion, and that was in 2006. And then and my spine surgery was fine. And my spine is fine. But the way mine was done, they did a graft off my iliac crest. And about 6 years after my surgery, I had pain it began gradually, but then really 6 years afterwards, I had pain that just blew up on my iliac crest.
Left or right?
Left. And they went back in, or I had a different surgeon go back in, and he rebuilt my iliac crest. And that
your iliac crest?
He rebuilt the iliac crest. I'm very thin. He rebuilt my iliac crest, and that eased some of that pain. But what really hurts now is the skin, where he went back over the same incision from the original surgery.
Okay.
And so when you talk about it not being nerve pain, that's difficult because where I feel it is the skin. Having said that,
Sure.
I went through, and I don't know if you're familiar with Alan Gordon and the Curable program.
I don't think so.
But that it's really focused on fear, getting over your fear. It's very much a mind-body program. And I went through that a year ago. It's focused on helping you get over your fear, and thinking about, traumas you might have been through, including childhood traumas. And I actually have been able to get back to where I'm swimming. What I can't do, where I struggle, is walking.
Okay.
So, I've heard some of what you said to somebody else. I can't remember who now. But that's really a problem for me. I mean, I'm by myself, so there are things I have to do. I mean, I just, that there are errands I have to run and things I have to do. The more I move, the better I know, the better I feel. But if you ask me to go walk, 2 blocks, I can't do it. I can't stand, for an extended period of time. I struggle to sit for an extended period of time. I also have migraines, but I've managed those all my life, and I'm 65. So, but anyway, this has been going on for 20 years with my back. So that's kind of where I am.
Okay, fine. Okay, just quickly, you mentioned, okay, the skin, the burning, the nerves hurt. Okay, fine. When I say not caused by physical things, like, I'm not referring to when a clearly identifiable thing, like some, there was a burning or something was, blunt force trauma or something. So fine. I completely understand. Okay. So can't walk that far, 20 years of pain. Okay, cool. I understand. And now let me check with you. What is your experience with the back pain miracle movements?
I have worked through some of the exercises, but not all of them.
And what is what did you notice? What did you feel? What were your discernments? What did they make you consider?
I like them. Yeah, I have the same problem that some people have mentioned with, like, the impatience. But I understand the need to do them slowly. Some of them I know are exercises that I've done before in physical therapy. So I have the flexibility to do the exercises. Which has been my problem with sometimes with physical therapy. People think that because I'm determined and disciplined and can do the exercises that I'm not in pain, which has not been true. It's just that I'm determined and disciplined and I'm flexible so I can do them. But so I can do them, and I just have to slow it down. There was one that when I did it, I felt I hurt after I did it.
Okay. Okay. I want to touch on something here. Like, you mentioned this concept, determination, right? Determination is kind of when there's something you want, right? You feel determined, right? That's what you're meant to have. and then you're putting energy and willpower into getting it. And you know, we use this we use this word determined, especially when there are certain barriers. But because we're determined, we go past the barriers or ignore the barriers and push through to get it. I just want to clarify, is this your understanding of determination as well, or how do you see determination?
No, that's a good definition, I think.
Okay. So you say, oh, you know, I can do the exercises because I'm determined. However, you seem to be indicating, but I still feel pain while I do them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think a lot of people with pain are determined, right? This is not just my opinion. Other people have said this as well. Like I think there's a book Sarno or something like that. I read it a long time ago.
Yes, Sarno and Durable.
Okay. Okay.
It's not tied together.
So he said that the people in pain often have these like A-type personality, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, A-type personality. And
Yeah,
Martha's like, oh yeah, that's me. All right.
Yeah,
So people in pain
me.
often have A-type personality, right?
Yeah.
They're like, you know, when I was a kid, I was like, you know, boy genius, prodigy, like determined, like get all the high grades, right?
Yeah.
Like university, like, you know, university, I'm like, okay, I have to get first class honors, right?
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah. I gotta achieve this. I gotta do that, right? So even though my body hurts, I'm determined, so I'm gonna push through it, right?
Yep.
So a lot of pain recovery. And, you know, I'm not sure what the best advice for you is yet, Anne. Like, your situation seems complex to me, but one thing that's stood out to me so far is this determination thing. So I want to cover that, right? One key element, you know, because with pain recovery, there's like 100 or 1,000 different elements, right? So you got to cover them all. So, right, well, let's go into this determination one. One thing with pain recovery is that you need to let go of determination, right? Because the determination almost it's like this part of your body. It's like this, it's like structured into your musculature, and it's like it's like this reaching, driving you forward, right? It's almost like your whole body is kind of like leaning forward. You know, a lot of people are in like anterior pelvic tilt because the whole upper part of their body is like reaching forward, right? They're like, you know, you even see it in like martial artists. They can't stop going forward when they fight. They literally cannot stand still or go back. They're just going forward because they're determined, right? And it tips you forward off your hips, and like then your lower back is like carrying the weight of your determination, right?
Mm-hmm.
I understand that's very conceptual and very wordy.
However,
what I suggest to you is that when you do the back pain miracle movements, you know, you said to me, oh, you know, a lot of them I've done, you know, I've done them in different physiotherapy things, but what I want you to do them in a different way. I want you to do them without determination, in the sense that like, I want to do these movements so that they cure the pain. I want to do the movement well. I want to quickly get the movement done, or I want to do it right. I want to do it fast. I want to do it well. I want to get it done. I want you to let go of any determination or any eagerness or any desire or any craving. And I want you to just spend time with your body, right? In the present, with no desire for outcome. Just let everything go and just like focus on what is, and notice what's going on in your body and experience it. Do you think if you did it in that way, it would lead to things? Am I getting at something here? Or?
Yeah, it makes sense to me, because it's why I like swimming, because I can like, I remember one thing you say at the beginning when you're talking about how to do the movements. You talk about direction and how you're moving in just a certain direction. So I've started thinking like, okay, when I'm swimming, I don't think about like breathing this or breathing that. I just think about, okay, I'm just going forward to the wall. And then when
Right.
when I get there, I just go to the next wall. And so I don't think about all of these different things about how my body's moving. I'm just swimming. And it was helpful to me because actually swimming was an accomplishment since that was the exercise I was doing right before I hurt my back in the first place. So getting back in the pool was a fear that I had to overcome.
Okay.
So I don't have like this form or anything that I have to master when I'm swimming.
Yes, that's very important.
I just swim.
Yeah, that's very important to take over to all of life. Like, you watch YouTube videos, they say, here's how to do it.
Yeah.
Right? Here, you're meant to put your arm here. You're meant to put your leg here, all this thing, form. Right?
Yeah.
And actually your body has its own expression. Right? And all you have to do is say the intention, and your body has this natural expression that it wants to do to do that thing. But we're like overlaying methods and form on top of it. And all that stuff that you put in from the outside that doesn't come from just within is just tension.
Right. Right. And
Because
that's,
it conflicts with yourself.
yeah. And that's, I mean, I taught myself to swim as an adult, so I'm don't follow my form in swimming by any means. So I just have to sort of adopt that attitude when it comes to doing the movements.
Okay.
In your program.
Right. So I think my general advice for you is like, I could
relax.
when I say my general advice for you, I mean just on this little topic, right? Like pain recovery is a big thing, right?
Yeah.
But just on this little topic, it's to do the movements with less prejudgment, right? And just be there with them and just explore more. There's things about your body that you don't know. There's things about yourself that you don't know. Use them as a catalyst to just explore and not try to achieve something. Like not try to determination A-type personality it. All right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's lots of things. Come back next week, talk more. Focus on a different lens, Okay. I'm going to end it there. I'm just going to say one more thing to Gary and just to everybody. He said, is it better to do exercises on a therapy table or on the floor? It doesn't matter. See, like this idea of a therapy table, right? It's like believing that you need a therapy table is believing that I can't recover unless I have a special table, right? And it's okay. You can do a therapy table. If it makes you comfortable, it's all cool. But like, if you believe that you need a therapy table to recover, then that a floor is not good enough. Like you can recover on a stone floor, So that's just a little point.
No, thank you for that.
Go ahead.
I had a moment. I just had a moment and through all of this where, especially after the surgery, I was getting better and stuff. I didn't want to get on the floor then because I felt like I couldn't get up. I felt like it would hurt for me to get up. It's kind of silly. Right. But I don't think I need a table. But when I go to the PT, when I went to PT, those tables were really nice and built really nice. They're expensive, but the good ones. But it was a nice feeling to lie on because it supported me a lot. But the floor does the same thing, really, right? I mean,
yeah. So. And I'll tell you one thing you can do. You can start with the floor. Like I don't know if do you have a table? Do you?
No, I do not. I have two. I have two. Things I roll out, so the cushions.
Right. So let's imagine that you had a table, right?
Yeah.
So what you would do is you would start on the floor because there's no need to start on the table, right? You don't want to start with the easy thing. You want to start on the floor and you're doing the movement. And as soon as you feel like, oh, I'm a bit uncomfortable, you know what? I feel like I could get this release, but I'm just a bit uncomfortable. Let me just pop up to the table and continue the movement, right? You can do things like that. You can just like, let me transfer to a more comfortable, more supported, more soft environment and continue. Sometimes that's helpful. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody. I hope that's all helpful to you. As I said, if you didn't get your question answered, if you were just waiting, just come back next week and just speak up at the beginning of the call. I'll try to go through people who didn't get their question answered this time. But hopefully I answered it, and I'll always try to do it. I'll answer everyone's questions in a conceptual, general way so that it applies to pain in general. Okay. All right, everybody. Hope that's helpful.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Very helpful.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for
it's good to have you
starting.
all.
You're a wonder, Matt. I'm sending you an email to let you know specifically why, and I want to thank you very, very much.
I appreciate it, Jody.
Hey,
yes,
Matt,
absolutely.
it's okay if we invite a friend or two to this?
No problem. Go ahead. Yeah, you don't. No one has to be a paying subscriber or anything like that. But I always advise, hey, tell your friends to buy the program. But it's totally fine. You can invite whoever you want.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you doing this.
Sure thing. Sure thing. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you later.